So I've been on the lookout for a mechanical keyboard, not just for development but for everyday use, and this is where I came across the Razer Blackwidow Lite. In this video I'll talk about some of the features, typing experience, and my thoughts overall on whether it's a good keyboard or not. So let's get right into it. The keyboard is an 8/7-key mechanical keyboard, which makes it compact. It's equipped with Razer's orange mechanical switches, which are rated silent. Now, having used it for a few months, I would say it's not actually silent. You can still hear the typing, and I'll do a sound test a bit later so you can hear and decide yourself. In the box you'll find a compact keycap puller as well as a set of O-rings. For those new to the mechanical keyboard landscape like myself, these act as dampers to make the keyboard a touch quieter. Installation is easy. It's a case of pulling the keycap with the keycap puller and popping the O-ring underneath. Now this is a wired keyboard and that may put off some people, but as it's wired there are two plus sides. One, you don't have to worry about charging the keyboard constantly, and two, you're not going to have to worry about any latencies or interference when typing. The supplied micro USB is also braided, which is a nice touch. It also has an adjustable white backlight, no fancy RGB, but I personally like it like that as it keeps things simple. It is also supplied with keyboard feet for those that prefer a raised typing angle. Now it is worth mentioning that as far as I know, you can't swap out the switches for something else like Cherry MX switches, without actually resoldering, so something to consider if you're hoping you could switch them out. The keyboard is really sturdy and feels really solid, no flex at all. For a keyboard it's not light either, it does have a certain weight. The keycaps are plastic and they do tend to attract fingerprints, which is a shame. But overall the keycaps are pretty decent quality. It would be interesting to see if the keycaps will shine over time, which I've experienced with other keyboards in the past. The base of the keyboard is plastic, but the top frame appears to be metal, not steel as it's not magnetic, but possibly aluminium. I'm not 100% sure. Now what would be a keyboard review without a bit of a sound test? I'll show you a few clips and see if we can tell which ones have dampers and which ones don't. Personally, I couldn't tell the difference even when I was hearing the sound test back myself, but let me know in the comments below if you can tell the difference. Now, coming from using laptop keyboards for the majority of my life and my full-size Cherry keyboard, both of which have small travel distance in the keys, and jumping onto something like this, it did take me a few days to adapt. The most significant change was the height of the keyboard. When typing on a much lower profile keyboard, you don't have to raise your wrist so high. With the Razer's keyboard, which measures about 2.5 centimeters, you are typing at a slight angle. This can of course be resolved with a keyboard wrist rest, but something to consider when purchasing a mechanical keyboard like this. Overall though, I didn't find the height too troublesome and I was able to navigate my way around the keyboard rather easily. I didn't feel too fatigued either, which is a good thing. I didn't have to find myself slamming hard on each of the keys either, as the actuation points are rather low. The short answer is yes. Why? Well, it's a full-size keyboard after all, minus the number pad, and all the usual and frequent keys are where I expect them to be. That means the additional keys that are missing, usually from laptops, such as the home and page up, page down keys, are all there. And if you're like me who have grown accustomed to the home and end keys in order to jump to the start or the end of the line when coding, it makes navigating and editing code just a tad quicker. Arrow keys are all of equal size, just like a full-size keyboard, which makes it easy to navigate around code. The Shift, Control, Window keys are good sizes as well, all within reach for those times you need to hit Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V or Ctrl-Shift-P in VS Code to launch the command palette. I also do like the addition of the function key, where you can adjust the volume and skip tracks if you're listening to music in the background whilst working. On a separate note, I never thought I would take joy in using a mechanical keyboard for work and development. But when you have something aesthetically pleasing like this just sitting on your desk, it does encourage you to interact with it more. Also, if you're spending most of your time on a keyboard developing or typing, it's generally nice to invest in something you like and take joy in using. And if you enjoy the audible sound of typing, this keyboard will probably give you that as well. Overall, I do like the Razer keyboard. I like how it's compact, which saves space on your desk. I also like the quality and the keyboard layout as well. It's not too small and not too big. Typing on the keyboard is enjoyable, but I would have preferred the keyboard to be a touch quieter, but that's my personal preference. Let me know in the comments below if you had any experience with mechanical keyboards and what keyboard you use for development, and I'll see you next time around.